Okay, so this is Foundation Homework 2 from half term 2. So we've got two similar shapes, A and B. The lengths of their edges are in the ratio of 2 to 5. So A to B, 2 to 5. We're told that the perimeter of A is 210 and we're asked to find the perimeter of B. So what we do is we divide by 2 to get 105 and then we multiply by 5 to get 525. So the perimeter of B is 525 centimetres. Question number 2. We have a Venn diagram. We have a lot of information. However, at the moment we can't use the 63 students to Austria, 89 students to France, because we've got to take into account 15 students go to both Austria and France. So that 15 goes in the middle where the two circles overlap. We're also told that 54 students do not go on either trip. So they're going outside the circles. However, they're inside the square because they're part of year 10. So if this circle represents Austria, then we have 63 students, but we have to take away the 15 students that went to both Austria and France. So that is 48 students. Again, if this circle represents France, 89 students, again take away the 15 that went to both countries, leaving us with 74 pupils. So the total in year 10 is 48 who just went to Austria, 15 who went to both, 74 who just went to France, and 54 who did not go to either, giving us a total of 191 students. Question 3. This shows sample space diagram showing the number of laptops and the number of desktop computers. So this means that 0 laptops in a household and 0 desktop computers. So there were no households that had no laptops and no computers. There were 6 households that had no laptops and 1 computer. 5 households had 2 laptops and 2 computers. We're asked how many have 2 laptops. These are the ones that have 2 laptops. So there's 1, 8 and 5. So that makes 14 households. We're then asked how many households have more laptops than desktop computers. So we are looking at this part of the diagram, because this part of the diagram we have 1 laptop and no desktop computers, 2 laptops, 0, 1 desktop computers, 3 laptops, 0, 1, 2 desktop computers. So all of these parts of the diagram show where there are more laptops than desktop computers. And if we add all those together, we get 20 households. So 20 households have more laptop computers and desktop computers. Question number 4. We have a straight line that has a gradient of 4 and it passes through the point of 523. If we consider a sequence, we would have a term 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're told that the 5th number is 23. We're also told, because the gradient, what it means is that each time we add a number, we add 4. So in this case we're working backwards, so we're going to subtract 4. So 23 subtract 4 is 19. 19 subtract 4 is 15. 15 subtract 4 is 13, is 11, I beg your pardon, and 11 subtract 4 is 7. However, because we are now looking at a graph, we also want the 0 term. So again, we're going to subtract 4 to get 3. What this means is that when we do our graph, the x coordinate of 0 will have a y coordinate of 3. So it will pass through the y-axis at the number 3. We're told what the gradient is. So our equation in the form of y equals mx plus c is y equals 4x, that's the gradient, 4x, plus 3. This is the number that will go through the y-axis. There are different ways to solve this equation, to solve this problem, but I've used a sequence to make it a little bit easier for this one. On question 5, I'm going to produce a sample space diagram, just like in question 3. I've got the numbers 17, 12, 23, 15 and 16. What's going to happen is I'm going to take one of those cards, take another of those cards at random, add the numbers together, and I'm going to see if the total is more than 30. So I'm going to put the same numbers down the other side of my sample space diagram. However, when I complete my sample space diagram, I must remember that I'm not going to have some of these combinations. I'm not going to have 17 and 17, or 12 and 12, 23 and 23, 15 and 15, 16 and 16. Also, if I pick out 17 and 12, that's the same as picking out 12 and 17. So again, I don't need the answers to these ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add up together both these numbers. So I get 29, 12 and 17, 23 and 17, 40, 32 and 33. 23 and 12 gives me 35 and so on. 27, 28, 38, 31 and 31. Sorry, beg your pardon, that should be 39 and 31. So I want to find out all the ones that are more than 30. So 29 isn't, but 40 is, 35 is, 32 is, 33 is, 27, 28 are not, 38, 39 and 31 are. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that are over 30 out of a possible 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the probability is 7 chances out of 10. Number 6, my linear sequence, 11, 21, 31, 41. What's happening is I'm going up in 10 each time. So that means that my sequence is going to start 10n. This means the 10 times table, and of course the 10 times table would start with the number 10. Because we want to start with the number 11, I need to add 1. So my nth term is 10n plus 1. Okay, question number 7. Now the company uses a formula to work out the cost of a taxi ride, and that formula is the cost A is equal to 4 plus 1.8 times M plus B. M represents the number of miles travelled, B is a charge for booking, and 4 is 4 is like a cover charge. So no matter how little you travelled, you would pay £4. So we've got a situation where somebody travels 8 miles and pays £20. So we know that the cost is 20. We know that we've got to pay this £4 whatever. We've got to pay 1.8 multiplied by the number of miles, and we've got to work out what this booking fee is. So I'm going to multiply 1.8 by 8 to get 14.4, and I'm going to add 4 to get 18.4. So the cost is 20. That's got to be equal to 18.4 plus the booking charge. That means if I take away the 18.4 from the 20, I'm left with 1.6. We've got to remember, however, that this is in money, pounds and pence, so the booking charge is £1.60. Part A. Part B, a different company. A fixed charge of £3, charges £1.90 per mile and has no charge for booking online. This time we want a formula in terms of C. So in this one we had an A for our cost. At part B we've got a C for our cost. We have a charge, a fixed charge of £3, however far we travel, and this time we're going to multiply our number of miles by 1.9. However, in algebra we don't usually put the multiplication sign in, so I'm going to just simplify that to 3 plus 1.9 m. Question number 8. 0.85 as a fraction would be 85 out of 100. However, we want this in its simplest form, so I'm going to divide by 5 to get 17 over 20. If I want to express 5 over 8 as a decimal, this means 5 divided by 8, so I'm going to divide 5 by 8. However, because 8 is bigger than 5, I'm going to need some decimal places and some zeros. So 8 into 5 is 0, there are no 8s in 5. However, I haven't used the 5, so I'm carrying it to make 50. Don't forget my decimal point. 8 into 50, well, 6 8s are 48, so that means there's 2 left over. I'm carrying the 2. 8 into 20, 2 8s are 16, so that means there's 4 left over. 8 into 40, 5 times with nothing left over. So 5 over 8 as a decimal is 0.625. Question number 9. Factorising x squared minus 100. Well, 100 is also 10 squared. This is called the difference of two squares. What that means is that when we factorise, we get two factors that are almost identical, x, x, 10 and 10. One of them is positive, one of them is negative. So when we multiply this out, we would get x squared minus 10x plus 10x. 10 times minus 10 is minus 100. Obviously the minus 10x and the positive 10x cancel each other out, so we're just left with x squared minus 100. For part B, if I'm going to solve this inequality, I just treat it like an equation. So I just leave that symbol in, but I just treat it like an equation. So I'm going to get rid of my smallest value of x, so I'm going to take away 2x on both sides. So that's going to leave me with 5x plus 6 is greater than 1. I'm now going to take away the 6 from both sides, and that's going to give me 5x is greater than minus 5. Finally, I'm going to divide by 5, so that's going to leave me 1x is greater than minus 1. For question 10, I have 7.2 multiplied by 10 to the negative 8, and I'm going to divide that by 1.6 multiplied by 10 to the negative 5. When we divide with standard form, with powers, we subtract the powers. However, we've got to be careful here because what this means is 10 to the negative 8 divided by 10 to the negative 5. So the sum I'm doing is negative 8, take away negative 5. When I take away negative, that becomes adding. So I've got negative 8 plus 5. So my power is negative 3. I now need to divide 7.2 by 1.6. However, because it's decimals, I'm just going to change it to 16 into 72. Make it a little bit easier. Now, I don't know my 16 times table, so I'm just going to make a little list. I've got 16, 32, 48, and one more, 64. So my next one will be more than 72, so that's going to leave 4 into 72. When I subtract 64 from 72, I'm left with 8. So that means that if I put a decimal point and a 0, I would carry 8. So I've got 80, and 80 is my next value of 16. So I've got 4.5. So the number I've got is 4.5 multiplied by 10 to the negative 3. However, I am asked to write this as an ordinary number. So this means I'm going to divide by 10 3 times. So the ordinary number is 0.0045. Question 11. We have carpet that measures 8 metres by 6 metres. So the area of that carpet would be 48 metres squared. We have a rug, which is a square of 2 metres. So that means 2 metres multiplied by 2 metres, which is 4 metres squared. If we take 48 and 4 as a fraction, we can cancel those down to 1 over 12. Or if we multiply 4 by 12, we get 48. So this means that the rug is 1/12 of the area of the carpet. Question number 12, the last question. Unfortunately, this thing here looks like a division symbol, which makes the rearranging a little bit more complicated. So I'm going to do two slightly different ones. Y equals x over 3 divided by 9. That's what it looks like. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to multiply by 9 to get 9y equals x over 3. And then I'm going to multiply by 3, 27y equals x. However, I believe that the actual question should be y equals x over 3 plus 9. It's just that when it's been photocopied, it makes it look like a division. So in this case, I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. So y take away 9 equals x divided by 3. I'm then going to multiply by 3. I've got to be careful here because I should write it as 3 brackets y take away 9 equals x. If, however, I did want to multiply out the brackets, then I could do that, and I would get x is equal to 3y take away 28.